Okay, so we've got a task 2 style essay. Discuss advantages and disadvantages, and they want to know what are more important, the advantages or the disadvantages. Okay, so it's kind of like a balancing thing. You know, you've got to think of it like it's like a sort of balancing tray. Which is stronger? Is it the advantage side or the disadvantage, which is going to outweigh the other? Okay, and then the key part of this is you've got to tell me why. Why are the advantages better than the disadvantages? So let's take a look at the topic. Some cities have vehicle-free days when private cars, trucks, and motorcycles are banned from the city centre. People are encouraged to use public transportation, such as buses, taxis, and the metro on vehicle-free days. To what extent do you think the advantages of this outweigh the disadvantages? Okay, so transport, travel, congestion, which is better? So let's take a look at this candidate. In recent years, whether to establish a vehicle-free day when people are prohibited from using private vehicles but urged to use public transportation has been at the centre of a heated discussion. This is a really great opening sentence. Why do I like this? It's a really good paraphrase of the topic. They've sort of jigged around the sort of the feel of the sentence or the structure of the sentence. So the basic paraphrase, you just swap out the vocabulary words to change up the sentence. The strongest paraphrases will change the structure of the sentence. Why does that get you higher marks? Because it's a much more difficult skill to be able to rewrite the same sentence with a different structure. Okay, and that's something that you can practice a lot in your IELTS classes. Okay, for the basic, the sort of band 5 answers, you can just be swapping out words. To get those sort of 6.5s and higher, your paraphrases to be also be changing the structure of the sentences. So I love this use of the word urge to use public transportation has been at the centre of a heated discussion. Great sentence. With regard to this matter, I believe the vehicle-free day has more merits. A vehicle-free day has more merits than drawbacks. In the following essay, the reasons for my belief will be elaborated. The reasons for my belief will be elaborated on. Okay, great. I think this is a really nice sentence too. With regard to this matter, sort of nice cohesion. They've given their opinion. It would have been nice if they'd have said like due to X, I believe that. So giving me one of the reasons already, so I know what to expect. But overall, strong introduction. On the one hand, there are numerous disadvantages with a vehicle-free day. The most obvious shortcoming is the inconvenience, especially for those who are in a hurry. It is not easy to adapt to other measures of transport for citizens who are used to driving their own car. Nice. Another aspect to consider is that the vehicle-free day is not a recommendation, but rather an enforcement that everyone must abide by. It will only infuriate people who don't agree with this idea, which in turn will not help in the reduction of overall private vehicle usage in the long run. What do I like about this? They've given me a logical, coherent argument. Okay, they have logically explained step by step why this reason supports their opinion. Okay, in detail. So they've given me the topic sentence. There are disadvantages. First disadvantage, they've explained why it's a disadvantage. Everyone must abide by, so it's going to make people angry, so it's not going to help with the overall reduction. Okay, so they've given me the point, their topic point, and then they've explained, okay, in detail, and then they've linked them together. So they've explained why does this support my opinion, okay, which is the really crucial part of argumentative essay writing. And they go, on the other hand, there are a myriad of disadvantages to a vehicle-free day. Firstly, a day without private vehicles will result in less air and pollution. Oh yeah, we just did the disadvantages. Will result in less pollution. Citizens will be given a chance to enjoy the merits of a day with cars, which would be impossible if left to their own devices. Secondly, depending on public transportation will lead to more walking, which contributes to a healthier lifestyle. A vehicles-free day can teach citizens that it's economic and healthy to use buses and metros instead of driving everywhere with your car. Okay, so again, this is nice. They've explained logically that what their English here is very clear, understandable. So what they're not doing is they're not using super fancy languages, okay? They've got myriad, okay? But that's the kind of phrase you can memorize and use before the exam. They've got, they said merits, but I mean, to be honest, the sort of vocabulary that's being used in here is not super high level, not super academic and formal. Yet why is this giving me such a good impression? It's because it's clear, it's understandable, and the grammar is correct and focused. I can clearly follow the logic. I can clearly follow their argument. Okay, and so that gives a much better impression of it than when candidates try to use complex grammar, they try to use complex vocabulary that they are not confident in using. So that's the sort of major issue I have with a lot of essays that I read, is that people are trying to use vocabulary to boost up their vocabulary score, but they're not comfortable in how to use it. This candidate is clearly only using vocabulary and phrases that they understand how to use and that they're comfortable using in an essay. So that's why it's easier for me to mark it, and it makes a lot more sense to me. To recapitulate, and then they do this to me. I think they mean to reiterate. Recapitulate means to give up, to give up again. To capitulate, to give up, to do something again. But I think they mean reiterate. Iterate, to say, to say it again. To reiterate, although there are many advantages and disadvantages regarding this matter, I believe the advantages outweigh the disadvantages due to the reasons mentioned above. My only issue is here, you've not told me why the advantages outweigh the disadvantages. You've not explained why this paragraph is more significant than the previous paragraph. Okay, so you've told me your opinion, but you've not explained why. Okay, so this is going to mark them down for task achievement. Okay, because you've not actually explained why you believe what you believe. Okay, you've said you've explained, but you've not actually told me. Okay, so one of the reasons you might say is that even though, it might make people angrier, in the long run, it could actually teach people about the economic benefits. Once people realize they save money on vehicle-free days, I believe in the future it will encourage people to use cars less. Okay, that's explaining why the advantages outweigh the disadvantages, which this candidate hasn't done. So in terms of task achievement, it's a shame it does knock them down. I would sort of want to give them like a 6 for task achievement. It would have been slightly higher, but they didn't fully explain why. Coherence and cohesion, I thought it hung together very well. It was nice, it was logical, there was good paragraphing. So I want to give a 6 for that. In terms of vocabulary, there was only that one or two issues that we went through. So again, I would want to give a 6 because even though they were mostly very accurate, and it was just one instance, it could have been a typo. And the same in terms of grammar. Their grammar was pretty consistent, pretty solid. Like I didn't have very many corrections to make at all, so I think I would want to probably give them maybe bump up to a 6.5 for grammar. Overall 6.0, I mean, I could see that I feel like it was better than a 6.0. I could see how someone might want to argue that because their vocabulary was so good, their vocabulary should also be a 6.5. So some examiners might want to argue with me and say that this should be an overall 6.5 because it was so clear and coherent all the way through. It was just a shame that they didn't actually explain why the advantages outweigh the disadvantages, because then it would have been a solid 6.5 essay. So overall, I think this candidate did a really good job, and I think they should be happy with what they produced.